What's up, guys and gals? Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is BG. Really appreciate you guys tuning back in again. We have more updates to share with you on the Jimmy build. A couple of cool things that we're working on that we think you might find interesting. So we're going to do a video about that. But before we get to that point, we want to say thank you to Dirt Road Cinderella for her shop card that came in just the other day. And we're really excited that the fact that she's joined the club. She's in there with the shop card. She's full tilt, joining the YouTube model car community. And we also want to say thank you very much for the very, very kind words on the back. Tiffany, you are very, very welcome, and we are always happy to help out whenever we can. She's, of course, there's going to be a link in the description down below for her channel if you're not familiar with what she's got going on. I was checking out a video of hers just the other day where she's working on an older Ford panel van and was modifying the suspension, and that was looking really cool. So good job there. Really appreciate what you got going on there. Also, we want to talk about this guy right here, Auto Modeler Magazine. We've talked about this on our podcast. We actually even had Scott on there as an interviewee, but we are really impressed with what is going on with this magazine and the fact that Scott has big plans for it and is executing those plans and doing such a good job. So I had no idea this was going to be so nice. It's a really awesome magazine. Awesome articles, awesome photos. He's tapped into what I would consider a great group of guys to help him create this magazine. So from John Teresi all the way to Chris Bell, it's just going to be an awesome type of thing. But what we want to talk about in regards to the magazine is that there's actually a Facebook page for them now. So go to Facebook, look up Auto Modeler. We'll also have a link in the description down below if you're able to click on that. We'll take you to the site. Please join. You will have to ask some questions, answer some questions. That's standard protocol for most Facebook clubs now. So Facebook clubs, groups, whatever you want to call it. But it's just to make sure it's a security situation. It's a formality. It's just to make sure that you're a human and not a bot or somebody who's trying to get in there and do nefarious things, that kind of stuff. So go check out their Facebook page. I'm on there as often as I can be, reading what people are talking about or posting photos or sharing photos of current projects. It's just really, really great. And it's just, I don't know, it's just another aspect to this wonderful hobby that I really enjoy. So take that to the bank there, guys. I'm going to get back to reading you this right after we finish this video. And here we have a sea of craziness. Usually my desk isn't normally this busy, but we've got several different things going on here at once. But first of all, let's talk about the body. We've done a lot of distressing on this. And we talked about how we did the paint job on there. We kind of did more and more passes of lighter and lighter versions of the original body color. And get a little exuberant with some of our sanding here and there, so we burned through a little bit down to the plastic. That's all right, I can fix that, no problem. The hood has turned out excelente. I'm really liking how that's looking. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm liking how that's going. We'll have to do some window frame treatment there. I'm not really looking for doing anything sharp, shiny. But this is looking so nice here. I really like how that's looking. Like, this would be worn where people are like always leaning over the side of the truck to put stuff in or whatever, that kind of thing. It's worn up here on the top where somebody's elbows would be riding when they're cruising around. So that's kind of what we were going for there. Now, when we talk about weathering, I always like to say that the vehicle should have, the weathering should have a story. There should be a story for the vehicle so you'll know what to do with the weathering, the life the vehicle has had. So guys cruising around with their arms hanging out, elbows on the doors type of thing, leaning over the side. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Now, on the back here, we actually have a little tiny hole for the filler cap to plug into. That's how the kit is supplied. And of course, we're doing a fuel cell in the center of the chassis. So I'm not really wanting to have this on the side of the truck. What we did was we filled it in with it. We just stuck a piece of styrene rod in there, glued it in there, happened to be the right size, snipped it off, sanded it down, painted it, and then I was like, I don't know. This thing is so worn and stuff. Would he really have a smoothed out filler cap? hole, I guess is the best way to say that. Would we really have that smoothed out and looking that good? Or would it be, let's see if we can get in here a little better. Maybe a zoom would be better. There we go. Or would he had some, would he have some booger welds around a filler piece? So we're going that route. And what we did was we borrowed a technique from the world of armor. We used some of this soldering wire here from Radio Shack. That shows you the vintage of this. And it's 1.5 ounces. Let's see, 0.022 diameter. So that's the smallest wire I happen to have. Well, why did you use the solder wire, Brian? I hear you asking. Well, I'll tell you. And the technique that I saw, you use a piece of solder wire, and then this is for like doing around hatches or whatever on tanks. But you take that piece of solder wire, I made a loop out of it, smashed it with a hammer, or just tapped it flat, and then glued it in place here with some super glue, and then went over the whole thing with a dished. This is a stirring stick. This is to me a stirring stick for paint mixing or a little bit of clay work, something like that. It's a little bit of a spoon shape. So we went around with the spoon shape and we just mashed it all the way around the circle to make it look a little more booger weldy. And then we'll try and blend that into the body a little bit because it's a little too square looking, right? It's got a flat top and flat sides, so we don't want that. And then once that's all done, we'll come back and repaint and then try to do a little bit of heat tarnishing around the areas. Like this guy was just like, I'm welding the hell out of this thing, kind of a deal. So that's what we wanted to do there. I thought that would be kind of a cool way to take care of that filler plug. Plus, we'll put a little small disc of styrene inside there to look like it's a... Actually, what I was thinking was I should actually get a piece of the tread plate, cut that into a circle or disc, and stick that in there like he welded some tread plate on there. That might be kind of funny. But yeah, the body's looking really, really cool. I'm liking that a lot. Pull back out there. And onto the interior. So interior, we sanded down the sides of the walls. I think I mentioned that before. And then what I did was I made a template before we removed all the detail. Made a little paper template. I wrapped it in some masking tape so it would be a little more rigid. And then that way I knew, so like this here, this is the top. So that would fit this notch here, right? Well, before I put masking tape on, of course. So that fits right down inside there. So now I know where to go back and glue in my half-round styrene rod to create the door panel. And now, and then I also poked a couple of little holes here and there of where the window crank and the door handle would be. And then, of course, there's going to be an armrest in there too. So just poked a couple of holes in there so that I would know where that stuff's supposed to go. And the plan is to put some sort of really nice looking stainless steel foil in there to make it look like it's a metal insert. Like they took the actual fabric door panel off there, or the vinyl door panel off there, and just filled it with a piece of metal. And then we'll see if we can't put some screw heads around there to finish off of that look. The center here, we decided what we're going to do. A good friend of ours, Mr. Joel from Iceman Collections, had a couple of these laying around. And he's like, I don't know what to do with these. I'm not going to really use these. So he offered them to us. And I think, if you remember correctly, they don't produce, this company doesn't produce this anymore. But this is a paper-thin piece of felt with an adhesive backing on it. So you see there's some cutouts here. So what we've done is we've taken some of our masking tape, made templates of the floor, 3 different templates, passenger side, driver side, and the center console. And then we made templates so that we could make our own little carpet kit. And here we have the pieces here. And I have them sliced. You can see I have them sliced there for where the folder, because this is a little bit on the stiff side. We probably will have to add some extra adhesive down there to make that fit down there a little better, so it doesn't peel back up, because this is a little glossy and it's got a texture to it. I don't feel like trying to remove the texture, especially after having added all this in here, because it's going to be hard to sand that out or scrape that smooth or whatever. So we're going to add some adhesive down there and then glue the carpet pieces in, starting with the center console and then that's got the tongues that stick out all the way around it, and then the side pieces will actually glue in over that, just like how a real carpet kit would work in a real car. I've put in enough of those to know that I never want to do that in real life ever again. 1/25th scale, about my limit for tolerance on that. So we're going to do a carpet kit in there. We're working on the seats. Also, I was inspired by my buddy over at Mile High Scale Mauler, Brandon. We shaved off the detail that was on these seats, leaving us with this. I did a little putty in there to fill in some of the gouges because I got a little overzealous with the chisels, and it's not 100% smooth. But I am planning on going back over with some of this super tiny. What is this here? This is the stuff right here. This is 0.040 half round rod. So we're hoping to do like a tuck and roll up the seat back and down the seat cushion area. So the seat and the seat back. So we're hoping to I'm just gathering up the courage to start slicing these up and then gluing them in place there, up and down the back there, and then we'll paint them up. And I'm still gonna go with this brown color. I think will be the best. And then while that is cooking, over here we're working on the dash. This steering wheel was actually a gift from a buddy. Gotten a lot of stuff sent to him, so he gifted us this steering wheel, which is awesome. I like that steering wheel; it's really cool. Sliced off the steering wheel from the original steering column, and then grafted this on here. And this bit right here, this fluting right here, was actually a little too wide for the base of the steering wheel. So I actually took this piece and chucked it into my little Tack Life motor tool here, chucked it into this guy, hit it on level 2 speed, which is their moderate speed. And while that was running, I just hit that with some sanding sticks and brought the diameter down to what I wanted for the wheel. I just kept, so I was using this as like a little hand lathe, basically. And then while it was still running, I took a what do they call these things? Hobby knife. Thank you. A hobby knife. Thank you for yelling at the screen. It really helped me out. I took a hobby knife, and while it was running at slow speed, I just did a tiny little groove to help accentuate the fact that this would be a 2-piece column. So there's that, and then painted it all flat black, and then we're going to come back and detail paint that up a little bit better. But yeah, that's basically what we're cooking on right now. We do have some paint on our drawer. Oh, man, that looks so good. This is the TS30 silver leaf. That looks, look at that. I mean, that's actually got some shine to it, you know. That's really good looking. I'm impressing myself. And that's going to slide in here like that. Ka-chow, just like that. So it's going to be sweet. There's that. Also, I texted my brother. I was like, hey, you know, he's former military. Like, hey, have you ever heard of an M16 with a sawed-off shotgun sort of attached to the bottom of it? I thought that would be kind of a funny, you know, just kind of making it funny. And he immediately sent back a picture, and he goes, you mean this? Which I'm going to add right here. And I was like, boy, howdy, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So that's going to happen. So may as well customize the weaponry that's going to go into the smuggling compartment there, since we're doing custom work all over the truck, right? And I'm like, now I'm thinking, man, I should have done a Punisher themed truck. Because this, I mean, could you see the Punisher walk around with one of these things tucked under his arm? That would be, or maybe even 2 of them. I don't know. I don't know how he'd use them, but I'm sure Frank Castle would figure it out. But yeah, that's, I was like, okay, cool. So talking to a couple of buddies, and one of them was like, man, maybe just make a Punisher decal for the license plate. I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll do that. That's going to be a thing. So we're going to do that there. In a little bit, have some fun with that. But yeah, that's what we got going on. Thank you all for sticking with us this long in the video. Really do appreciate that. And I'm thinking today's cookie's gonna be a fortune cookie. Yeah, I have one left over from dinner a couple nights ago. So fortune cookie. It'll probably tell me you need to change hobbies. But we'll see. If that's the deal, then we'll stop eating Chinese food. Nobody needs that negativity. Anyway, y'all take it easy, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Have a great weekend. Bye now.